This is RICKY, the Android Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Android Weekly / Android Q&A. We go over all the latest topics that happen during the week and answer your questions live. If you want your question answered live, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com and hopefully I will answer your question next week. Now, we normally have this every Sunday, but if you did get my post on social networking, by the way, if you haven't yet, follow me on all my social networking at Ask the Android Guy on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And I generally update you guys right then and there, and Google Plus as well. Yesterday I did have food poisoning, so I did not make it. Been trying to lose weight for a little while now, for the wedding and everything like that, get in better shape for that. And the one day I cheated, I had some chili cheese fries, and oh man, did my body pay for it. Yeah, my body was like, no, what the hell are you doing? Been trying to eat better now, and then again, the one night I didn't pay for it. So sorry about missing yesterday. I was literally from Saturday night to all day yesterday. It was just painful, and I just would have not made a good presenter. Even today, I still don't have full energy, but I'm definitely feeling better compared to yesterday. So just wanted to tune back in and give you the weekly news. Plus, we had some new announcements in one day, so we should get right into the news. And again, if you're watching live, I do want to always encourage you to ask your questions in the comment section down below, and I will answer all comments in the box down below before the end. So feel free to ask any question you want, and I will answer it before the end of the show. And one more thing, actually, before we start. This Sunday will be our special Ask Anything About the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge show. So I will make another separate video on it, but any questions you have about the S7 or S7 Edge specifically, we will go over this Sunday's show. So that will be the special for this Sunday. So if you have an S7 or are planning on getting an S7 or S7 Edge, please make sure to ask your question because we will have lots of comparisons and lots of just anything you have in terms of questions, we will try to answer them. All right, now let's get to the news topics for this week, and we will start with the we'll start with this one. First, all the new features of Android N. Android N seems like a small update, and really, I'm not too excited about it, quite frankly, just because the biggest thing it has is something that I already have, and that is split screen. So let's go over all the latest things and go over them. So the biggest thing is split screen, and honestly, that is probably the most thing that needs work. So it's really cool to be able to have split screen, but I don't find it to be just compelling, just because I have a Samsung, so I always have it. So yeah, that's the main thing with it. Now, the one thing I will say, and you have bundle notifications, which is kind of cool. That is something that I actually really like, is the bundle notifications. I think that's smart, and it's a really simple way of kind of getting to the notifications you want to just get rid of right away, and that is something I am looking forward to. Direct reply notifications. I don't know why this is new, since with Hangouts, I've always had this. I've had this for a while now with Hangouts, so I'm not really sure why they're making that big of a deal about this being new, unless it's really going to be on replying to anything, like say an email or something like that. That would be more exciting, but Hangouts have had direct reply for a while now. And app switching overview button. So this I do like. So what you can now do is you can double tap the recent apps button, and this will do something pretty cool, and that is it'll take you back to the last notification. So that I really do like. I'm very excited about that. I feel that that's an interesting thing, and I feel that that is something that really, it's so simple, yet it makes perfect sense. You double tap it and you go right back to your last app. When you're switching between two apps, it's a really good feature to have, and I really like this idea. So that's probably my favorite feature in all of Android N. More quick settings. Yeah, you can customize it more. Again, I have a Samsung. I've had a lot of these settings, so again, nothing too fancy. Um, The night man cometh. Night mode is a nicer thing, but I feel like we're going a bit backwards with this. I wish Android would have kind of made the darker UI a bit more compelling, because this looks like my old UI I mean, not exactly like it, but it more reminds me of the dark theme from Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. Doesn't it? It's like it looks really reminiscent of that more so. So I just wish they would have made this cooler looking and just a better look, in my opinion, to make it more compelling. And Data Saver, again, we've had similar things to Data Saver on many smartphones, so it's again not that impressive. And the File Manager, well, the File Manager pretty much sucked on built-in Android, so of course they had to do something to that. I mean, it was just only a matter of time. Display calibration, I do think that's pretty interesting. I think it's a really good way to go. And I just think they need to more simplify it, like how Samsung has it. They have photo, and then they have vibrant, and I think those are the two that people would pick most complete. To be able to have pure manual control is awesome, but again, how many of your consumers are actually going to use this is always my question. You don't want to make things too complicated, because then people will not use it. And extra power efficiency, bringing that all day, of course. You always want more power efficiency, so that's great. And then improved Java browser, so that's really good. Of course, you always want to be able to have faster internet, so I'm all for that. Bring that on all day. And screen zoom, I think it's kind of interesting. Just zooming into the screen itself. We'll see how this kind of plays out and how good it actually is. But yeah, so that's all the latest for Android N. Now, Apple has finally made their announcement for their announcement. So, the iPad Air Pro and the new iPhone SE will be announced March 21st. So, that is the official announcement date. So, we can expect to see finally, the new iPhone iteration. Now, this is going to be the lower cost iPhone. If you haven't been following our coverage on this, basically, this is going to replace the iPhone 5S. So that's what this is going to replace. Their second attempt at an inexpensive iPhone to captivate the market. The 5C did not do that well. It's all but a memory now. So we're going to see if the SE can do a better job and a more compelling reason to buy an inexpensive iPhone. So we'll have to wait and see just how that plays in effect. It really is curious. My guess is the SE will come at a $400 price point. That is the lower end of the price point that everyone's predicting. The 5S right now is currently at $450. It could come in right at $450, matching the price. But I think if Apple really wants to make this a hit, they should go for $400. However, that cuts in their profit margin, so maybe not. In the vein of that, the iPad Air 3 or the iPad Pro Mini, or what I am calling the iPad Air Pro, we'll see which one is right, basically has revealed from case manufacturers that yes, it does have two of the things that the Pro has, and that is it has ports for 4 speakers. So you will have 4 speakers all around, holes cut out for them. So we're going to get the 4 speakers on the iPad Air Pro, which I do applaud Apple for this. I think it's a long time coming. Quite frankly, I think front-facing speakers would be the best thing, but I guess this is the closest thing we can get to it. And then you will have the Magic Connector, which means the iPad Air Pro will have a keyboard case for it. It won't come with it, of course. It'll be a separate purchase. Will it be $160 just like the iPad Pro? We'll have to see. I think they might cut it down to $150 since it's a smaller price, but who knows? Maybe they'll make it the same price. It is Apple. And then we also have Samsung's possible answer to the iPhone SE. Yes, Apple is trying to disrupt Samsung's launch with the S7, which has quite frankly gone very well from what I've heard in my Samsung connections. So Samsung's like, oh, we'll take you on. You're going to our realm. When it comes to small devices and smaller, lower price points, they have done a much better job. Obviously, Samsung has a lot better of experience with this. So, will they make a Galaxy S7 Mini featuring a Snapdragon 820? Now, this is what's really interesting. Will it have the same processor as the S7, but just in a smaller form? this would be a 4.6-inch display, which is slightly smaller than the iPhone 6s at 4.7. This is really curious and a really interesting concept. If Samsung would come out with this, I think it would be really interesting to see how it plays out. But if they make it with the same specs, then again, how is this going to compete? How are people really going to be turned on by a smaller screen? On Android, this isn't traditionally the case. Most Androids want bigger screens all the time. But losing that much screen resolution, will people buy it? What do you guys think in the comment section? Do you think that the S7 Mini would sell if it had the same chipset as the S7, which Samsung has never done for their minis? But it would have a 720p display, so they are cutting the resolution down. Quite frankly, I think if they would have a 1080p display, not a 4K, or sorry, not a 2K display or Quad HD display, but I think if they would have a 1080p display, I think this would make it a lot more convincing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What would you think if you had a similar device with 3 gigs of RAM, still 12 megapixels, all of this? What would you guys think in the comment section down below? Let me know. And finally, we finally get confirmation from LG that yes, they are coming to the US in early April. We do not have yet exactly what date in April, although April 6th, I believe, is the circle date that everyone is expecting. But the LG G5 is coming, and we cannot wait for it. LG will most likely sell a spare battery and charging cradle for that battery. Now, this is a really great concept because you can charge the other battery separately while you're using the first battery. So that's a really good concept when having an extra battery, and that's something that I applaud LG for doing. I'm really interested to see how this will do because, I mean, LG, look, this is their best phone by far, but the S7 has gained so much popularity that I just wonder how LG is going to complete. This is a duopoly right now. It is iPhone and Samsung just took a big chunk of the market from everything the reports are coming in with the S7. So can the G5 compete? It's an amazing phone from everything that we've seen, but can it compete in terms of sales? I full-heartedly believe it has the hardware to back it up, but will it have the marketing to back it up and everything else that it needs to really take down Samsung in terms of being the top Android player on the game? I'm really curious, and I definitely think LG's hardware is always top-notch, but will it have the capability? That's what I can't wait to see. And we can't wait to review it in studio and compare them side by side. Alright, that was the news for the week. Now let's get to the questions. Again, if you have a question that you want me to answer, just email me at asktheandroidguy@gmail.com and make sure your subject is question, and hopefully I will answer it next week. Alright, so let's get to the first question. Star-Lord. Is there a way to, so Waydell asked, is there a way to move my pictures at one time from my S5 to my Note 3 with one having service and the other only having internet? Thank you. Yeah, actually, you just use Samsung Smart Switch. So Samsung Smart Switch is a free app found on the Google Play Store on both your S5 and your Note 3. You download them both to the device. You have the other one has the internet, so that's fine. Once you have that app on both devices, you launch them. Launch Android device. Have one labeled as the sending device and one labeled as the receiving, and then you can select everything, or you can just select pictures and videos. This will transfer over everything through Wi-Fi Direct, meaning once you actually have the app, you do not need internet. So you can like be in a car driving home, and it will still transfer over everything without having without having internet on both phones. Actually, at that point, so it will transfer over everything, and once it does, then you have everything on the phone all at once. So that is how you would do it from an S5 to a Note 3. Bettina, I want to say, hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right. Bettina asked, "Hi Ricky, I have a tablet with an S Pen. The 10.1 2014. Yes, that was the last tablet made with an S Pen from Samsung. I'm not counting the Tab A. Is it? It's awesome, but I want to wait for a new one. I know as soon as I buy a new one will come out. The Samsung. Do you know what Samsung is doing with tablets? I also want a 4G with Verizon. So currently, right now, Samsung has a new Windows tablet called the Tab Pro S, which is going to come with a separate C Pen. It will not be an S Pen though, and that's going to be Windows based, not Android based. That one currently is with no LTE provider in the US, although it might have some overseas. There will be none in the US, at least for the foreseeable future. Um, However, you're asking about, a new tablet with an S Pen. So, um, I would believe that Samsung would have a new Note series tablet. However, typically their tablets don't launch till right before summer or with the next launch. So my guess is we would get a new Note tablet around from June to September. I do believe August will be the new Note launch, so the Note 6 will come around that time, I believe. And I easily believe that a new Note could go with that, but I can't say for sure. It's hard to tell if that's a definite. However, I do feel that's a very, very strong possibility. So I would imagine that we would definitely get one before September. However, if it will be a 4G one or not, I'm not sure. That's always depending on carriers if they want to pick up a new tablet. And Verizon, especially, they like to sell those little cheapy tablets that aren't worth a damn. They like to sell those. Since they sell those a lot, I don't know if they're really going to go with a high end tablet like a Note 10.1 2016 edition. God, I hope they don't call it that. Just call it a Note tablet. But yeah, we'll see. But that is what I would expect if they would have one come out. All right, and the next one isn't a question, but it was a great story and a great email that someone emailed to me. So this is from Mike, who is a soldier that was deployed to Iraq, and he says every chance he gets a good internet connection, he loves to watch my channel, which I can't thank you enough. Thank you for your service, first of all, Mike, and really just thank you for watching my channel when you have time. I hope it's good and it's fun for you while you're out there. And when you got home, you actually got a great birthday present from your fiance. She got you an S7, which is just awesome. And you've been very pleased so far. Battery life is okay. Just learn more about it. Hopefully the videos will help you out learn about it. And yeah, you just want to say thank you, and I just want to say thank you back for watching. It really means a lot that that you had some fun watching those videos while you were overseas. So thank you for that. Thank you for your service, and hopefully you enjoy the new S7 and happy late birthday. So yeah, just wanted to say that. Thank you, Mike. All right, guys. Now let's get to the questions in the chat room. So again, if you have a question you want me to answer right now, live, just leave it in the comment section down below, and I will get to it before the end of the episode. All right, so let's get to the first question, which... Do you think that Samsung Galaxy Note 4 will get Android N? Really? You don't even have Android Marshmallow yet, and you're asking me about Android N for your phone? Oh God, is this going to be the new thing? Every week, guys, I get asked about Marshmallow and when's it getting to your phones. Last week, I answered when every single one of your phones are getting to Marshmallow. And now you guys are going to start asking me about Android N, aren't you? I don't know that question yet. I do not know yet. I would say the earliest you will get Android N is this summer. Why do I feel that? Well, we're gonna get the Android N announcement in I want to say May, but I feel like it's April. So we're gonna get that announcement then for official Google I/O and everything. So we're gonna get that soon. But we do not know yet about how it's going to be released and everything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I would say at the earliest summer. Yes, that's setting your expectations. What can you when can we expect Android M for the LG V10 International? Some markets have already gotten Android M for the LG V10, so I'm not sure what region specifically you're in, but some countries have already gotten sorry Android Marshmallow for the V10. So I do know some countries have gotten that. Not every country, of course, but some countries have already. So it just depends on your area, I guess. What's up, Ricky? Greens from Egypt. Well, thank you for watching from Egypt. Always great to see just how international our viewers get. So that's awesome. Thank you for watching. I have an S7 Edge T-Mobile variant, but I can't disable my app drawer. I guess it's only for the European version. Yes, only the international version has the Galaxy Labs found in the 10 hidden features video that we went over. And no US carrier actually has the Galaxy Labs part in, what is it, additional features or advanced features or whatever Samsung calls it. In the settings portion, they do not have it. So yes, that is not what they have. Whoa, sorry, just had a lot of questions pop up. The Snapdragon is a quad core, right? Yes, it is a quad core. The Snapdragon 820 is a quad core processor. The Exynos 8890, which is the international version of the S7, is an octa-core processor made up of 2 quad cores. However, performance has been mixed. I actually have both of them. So I actually have an S7 Edge quad core Snapdragon 820, and I have an S7 88090 octa-core. So far, I've seen really good performance from both. I do feel like the battery life is a bit better than the octa-core. However, performance has not been lagging on either one, really. So I still have to do more research in terms of which one really is the best overall. But I will say that the difference is minimal. They're both great phones with great processors, both of them. So yeah. Samsung has too many devices. They already have smaller devices. Yes, they do, but they do not have a high-end smaller device. Actually, Samsung hasn't made a high-end smaller device in a while. The last one they made was the Alpha, and then they started with these, A series, but the A series aren't in the U.S. So they have a lot of A series. I will give you that, actually, now that I really think about it. They have a lot of fucking A series phones. But they're not in the U.S. and I've never heard of plans of them coming to the U.S. However, they just have too many phones in general. I do agree with that. I would say that they've never had a high-end phone like that they're describing with the same specs as their flagship, at least for the most part, in terms of processing power and everything like that. If they make an S7 mini Edge screen, I think that'll sell. Huh, that's an interesting concept, right? Will they actually have one of their best features? Not necessarily best features, but most appealing visual features on a mini one. That's interesting, actually. Ricky, did you use the S7 Edge on your Gear VR? Yes, I have. I've now used it. It looks great, runs great. Does not overheat as quickly as the S6 or Note 5 did or the Edge Plus. So that is important to note. It does not overheat as quickly, the S7 Edge. At what price do you consider the G5 accessories to be dead on arrival? Do you think the G5 has legit chances here? I just don't know. And the reason I don't know if the LG G5 has a legit chance, so I think the LG G5 is worlds better than the G4 last year. Because the G4 from last year, it was just too similar looking to the G3. You could literally put them side by side and most customers would say, oh, is that the G3 or is that the G4? I don't know. It looks the same to me. Oh, is one faster? Is one, it just wasn't appealing visually, and most people couldn't tell you what the difference was year over year. The G5, though, the look is definitely different. You can see something as different as the volume rockers being back. Things like that are okay. This is different. I can see the difference with this. It has two cameras now. Okay, I can really see the difference on this phone. So it's just more of an appealing visual. But the question more so is that last year Samsung had a great looking phone that took out HTC when they tried to come out the same day with them. Like HTC only had, oh, we have the best looking Android phone. Come at us, Samsung. We'll see who wins. Samsung destroyed them. But Samsung didn't have the micro SD card, they didn't have the water resistance, things that people missed, and they paid for that. But the S7, what doesn't it have? What doesn't it have? The only thing it doesn't have is removable battery. And is that demographic that needs removable battery big enough? I think it's a minimal one, to be honest. I think it's very innovative what LG did with the G5 to have that kind of battery, but I just don't know if it's good enough to make up for the sales. And that's really the trump card that LG has to play and LG has to throw down. LG needs to spend $1 billion on marketing. They really need to put money into marketing. If they do, if they really have a compelling story around marketing, absolutely, they might. But if not, I just don't know if they can come against Samsung. Now, to your other question, what price should the G5 accessories be to consider to be dead on arrival, or not dead on arrival, rather? So I would say that LG G5, an extra battery should be $30. $30 would be good. I think the camera adapter could be 50. But I think, those are compelling reasons why to get it. But yeah, I just don't know. And it's really a big thing. So just while thinking about this, the camera accessory, I'm thinking about how this is going to play in a store. So this is what I mean by that. If I am a sales rep and I'm trying to sell you a case, that case isn't going to fit if you put that camera modulation, right? Because the camera module won't fit with any case on. So wait, now what am I going to do? Am I going to try to sell you a case? Or am I going to try to sell you a camera module? Am I going to try to sell you both? This is something that I just thought of right now. So I have to take my case off to put the camera module on. That in itself possesses a problem. It's one that I just did not think of till now. So that's a pretty big problem, actually. That's one that I don't know if LG's really considered. Because their camera module is by far their best module. But if I can't have a case on it, that's a really interesting concept. Freaking Danny. When is my iPhone 6 Plus getting Android N? You bastard. Never. Does your S7 Edge have Galaxy Labs? Mine does not have it. I have T-Mobile. No, my Galaxy S7 Edge is a T-Mobile variant and does not have Galaxy Labs on there. Thanks for answering that. I have an S6, not sure if I should go up to an S7. Actually, I'm going to make a video on that. Like, I don't know if it'll be 5 reasons or 10 reasons, but easily I can make 5 reasons on why you should go from an S6 to an S7, and 5 reasons why you should go from a Note 5 to an S7 Edge. So stay tuned for that. S7 or 6S, S7 or 6SSS, S7 or 6SSSS, S7. So do you think a high-end smaller phone with high-end specs would sell well, considering the cost variable factor of smaller devices are lower and working well by today's standards? It's really interesting, right? because I have heard customers say I want a smaller screen smartphone. There are still people that own an iPhone 4S or 5 because they like the smaller screen. They don't want the iPhone 6 because it has too big of a screen for them. Now, in Android, this really is a thing, right? Where the smaller the screen, the cheaper the phone. So I feel like if the S7 Mini would come out, it would have to be cheaper. I do believe at most it would have to be $500, and that's at most. I would see it more compelling if it would be at $450 to really complete with the iPhone SE that'll be around $450 to $400. So I do believe that if the Samsung would do a higher end phone, they would have to make it less expensive. Um, Hey, just got here. I'm really enjoying my silver S7 Edge. I know it's so awesome, right? I just had some friends that were like, "Man, I really want the S7 S7 Edge silver." I'm like, "I know, right? It's so beautiful." I own a Note 5. Is there any news about when the Note 6 is expected, and is it finally reach Europe? That's a great question. The Note was really a big thing when it was like, oh, it's not coming to Europe. We were like, what? What do you mean it's not coming to Europe? What the fuck is your problem, Samsung? So yes, I do believe it will reach Europe. I do not think Samsung will make that mistake again, especially because there is going to be no S7 Edge Plus. So there will only be a Note phone coming out, and maybe another one. But the Note 6, I believe, will come out to Europe in either August or September. That is when I believe it will reach Europe. Um, I don't have anything to really back that up in a sense, but it's definitely when it would probably come out. Do you consider yourself an Android fanboy or all around user? Also, do you think Samsung made the right choice by bumping down the megapixel count on to 12 from 16 to 12? So first thing, do I consider myself an Android fanboy? I would say overall, most likely yes. Uh, you know, by everyone's traditional meaning of a fanboy, I would say yeah, sure, why not? Now, will I admit Android's faults? Yes, which is one thing I believe most fanboys do not admit to when it comes to any kind of fandom. You have Marvel and DC fans that like, oh my god, like, you can't be fans of both. No, you have to choose one side or the other. And so, you will have a fanboy that like can't admit any fault. Like you can't say like, oh, Marvel's had bad movies. Look at this one, this one, this one. Marvel has never had a bad movie ever. Like there are fanboys that just like you cannot say anything bad about them. So yeah. Um, Now, do I think Samsung made the right choice by bumping down the megapixel count? Well, there's a lot of argument to be made for the megapixel count being bumped down. Now, it's more of the question, do you think that they made the right choice in terms of a marketing or business standpoint? And do you think it matters that the megapixels are lower? Because those are very two different questions. So here's what I mean by that. I believe it was a mistake to do 12 megapixels because of the fact that people are asking this question. Now, from a marketing standpoint, people do not understand megapixels. All they understand is, oh, bigger, better. 21 megapixels, that's the best camera out there in the market. Not, but you get the point. HTC, Motorola both had over 20 megapixel cameras, weren't the best quality, couldn't take a photo really good worth a damn, but they had the more megapixel count. And people pay more attention to that when it's the big names, iPhone and Samsung. That's what people pay attention to. So that's from one standpoint. The other standpoint is the S7 camera absolutely destroys the 16 megapixel found on the Note 5 and the S7 Edge. I mean, especially when it comes to low light. Oh my god. We will still do a separate video. So I know I have the Note 5 and S7 camera comparison already done, but we will still have a S7 low light comparison to every smartphone that I have here. So we're gonna have it compared to the iPhone 6s, to the V10, to the Huawei 8, to the Nexus 6P, to all those devices. We're gonna have that comparison, and we're gonna see the low light difference between all of those. So you will see that it's a dramatic difference. So yes, it's a huge difference in terms of other things. I see someone saying the aperture means a lot more. Yes, it does. And the S7 has the widest aperture at a 1.7, whereas the Note 5 and S6 had a 1.9. So yeah, overall, definitely the aperture plays a role in it. But Samsung really has something with the dual pixel technology. But the fact that you called it a megapixel really says that their marketing needs to do a better job, right? It's not a megapixel, it's a dual pixel. So that's really a difference. And Samsung's marketing really hasn't explained what that means. And that's a problem. So again, that's what I mean by does it matter? No, it doesn't matter from a photographical quality standpoint. Does it matter in terms of a marketing and sales standpoint? Yeah, it does. And if their marketing can't prove that it's better, it's not going to be good for them. When do I think that the LG Stylus 2 is coming out? Don't know. I would probably say April or May. I think they're going to launch that after their G5 or maybe around the same time as their G5. Which is better for watching movies, the S7 or S7 Edge? The S7 Edge is better for watching movies. You have a wider field of view. So yeah, the S7 Edge is better for watching movies. That is totally true, Nicholas. Yes, that it was true about the aperture that you were talking about. I watched a demo of the Gear VR at Best Buy, and the resolution was not that great. Is the resolution better on Netflix or YouTube? Well, so YouTube doesn't have an app for the Gear VR yet. You can kind of finagle it with Google Cardboard in there, but it doesn't have one. So, as of right now, I would say Netflix because that has the only one. But it does depend on what content you're watching. It always is better, obviously, if you have a stronger connection or if you just download the video before watching it so it doesn't have to buffer. Because I think if you stream any video, it doesn't look as good. Even with your best internet connection, it's just not going to look as good as if it's downloaded and it will be very clear, as opposed to not being clear at all sometimes if it's not. Making a smaller phone for a lower selling point should surely have them spending more to make less. Besides, none of their mini devices sell well. S3 mini, S4 mini, S5 mini. Good point. And that's definitely a good point. Which is why I'm not sure if Samsung would actually do that. Is it possible to delay for Marshmallow on the S7 Edge Plus is due to update? Is it possible the delay for Marshmallow on the S6 Edge Plus Verizon is due to updating the Edge like the S7S Edge? It's possible. Samsung did do that for the Edge. The Edge got some of the features that the Edge Plus had at launch, so it's definitely possible. It shouldn't cause that much of a delay though for just that. Will Samsung create more apps for the S7 Edge? Do you think the Note Edge has more features than the S7 Edge? They had about the same. They really did. The only difference between the Note Edge was that you could go to the Google Play Store and find lots of apps for it. Currently, right now, the S7 Edge doesn't have that. Not to say that it can't have it in the future, but right now you're stuck to the Galaxy apps, which only have, I think, 4 more, and 2 which are paid for ones. So, yeah. Not sure about that. All right. We've gone 45 minutes. Let's see if there's any other questions. Again, Sunday we will be having a Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge event. So any questions and all questions you have about it, it should be there. Um, on the note of updates, what the hell is happening at Samsung? Note 4 hasn't received update in ages. Hello. That's funny. Um, with that, I would say this, that yeah, the Note 4 is getting an update. I would say check out our last video. I want to say 2 weeks ago when we did all the new updates. Um, that is really going to be the key. We gave over all the updates on when every phone would be getting Marshmallow. So check that video. I don't remember anymore when they were, but check that video out. We went over every single Samsung phone and when they will get the update to Marshmallow. I really don't remember it. I think it was like May or April for the Note 4. Check it out there. I don't remember anymore. Thanks for answering my previous question about the Note in Europe. One more. I think most of us using Android are very concerned why Samsung doesn't ever announce fixed updates for software updates. I mean, the 920i still hasn't got the update for Marshmallow, while other versions have in general. Even a huge Samsung fan, I think Apple is a much better way of dealing with this. Well, yeah, the problem with Samsung is they give way too much credit for the carriers. They need to tell carriers, we're doing this. Fuck off. That's what they need to do. Fuck your bloatware. Fuck you. You want our phone or not? Because guess what? We have enough power now that we will destroy you if you don't carry our phone. You don't think the other carriers would love to say that we're the exclusive on our phone? Oh, you bet your ass they would. So yeah, I think they really need to tell carriers to shut the fuck up. Because I'll tell you what, even the biggest carrier, Verizon, right? Verizon puts the most bloatware out of any carrier in the market. If Samsung told Verizon, look, take your software off now for our next Note 6. Verizon was like, no. What, you're going to go without us? Are you kidding? Try it. Samsung will be like, oh, we'll try it. Do you know how many subscribers you'll lose? Because guess what? It's easy as ever to jump now. They can get you at T-Mobile. They can get you at Sprint. They can get you at AT&T. They'll pay your Verizon cancellation. So you really want to try it, Verizon? You really want to try to be the big dog and go without, if we say no more bloatware? Try it. Do you know how many subscribers would leave Verizon flat out just to keep a Samsung phone? It would happen. But Samsung can't man up. If they would do it. They would win. They're big enough now that they can, especially with this. But they need to do it, see, after this, right? The S7 is the hot ticket item right now. The S7 sold like crazy. So if they get these numbers off of a hit, right? It would be different if it was like off the S6 or the S5 that didn't sell as well. But if the S7 is a hit, manufacturers will have more power, then they'll have the leverage and they can overtake them. And then they can push all the over-the-air updates themselves, and then life would be great. But they're not doing it. So it's up to Samsung to man up, to, really stand up and tell the carriers, we're doing this, you don't have a say in it. Hey, Apple's been doing it for years. Do you really want to be like Apple, Samsung? Man up and tell the carriers to fuck off. Can you receive text messages on the Edge screen of the S7? Not yet. However, I do expect that to be an add-on app eventually. Using the YouTube Cardboard to watch on the Gear VR, isn't that resolution 1080p? So wouldn't it be 1080p through the VR? No, not necessarily. Just because of a couple of things. One, you can watch YouTube at 440p, which is Quad HD. So there are YouTube videos that do come out as playing that. So that's first thing, is that yes, you actually can have a higher resolution than 1080p on the Gear or on YouTube. That being said, there's not much content as that, but you would expect for VR content to be recorded at the highest quality, but it just depends on what it more depends on what you're watching was recorded on. If it's 1080p, then it's 1080p. If it's that, then it's just that simple. But no, you can actually watch a quad HD video on, and it can take up full screen on the Gear VR. When you play back actually a quad HD video that you have on your phone, it does take up more of a screen than a 1080p display video does. So it does take up a higher resolution in that sense. Did you receive your free VR and Netflix when you pre-ordered your S7? I already submitted my form for the Gear VR. However, I did not do the Netflix. I have to really look into that, how to do the Netflix one. I just haven't had the time. Why Samsung releases different colors of their phones months after they're released? I know, right? I'm really interested if we're gonna get an S7 silver later down the line. I think that's gonna piss so many people off if that happens. But yeah, I don't know. It's something that Samsung does. It's not something that I condone whatsoever, but it's something that Samsung does for sure. How many S7 and S7 Edge did Samsung sell so far? There is no official numbers yet, but you better believe they will probably announce it this week. So yeah, I would imagine that they would announce it this week, or they will announce it in 10 days. So 10 days after the launch is typically when Samsung announces their number and how many phones they sold in 10 days. So I can't wait to see how many phones they sell in 10 days. So if I had to guess when we're going to get official numbers from Samsung, I would say, let's see, we got the S7 launched on the 11th. So I would probably say next Monday, the 21st, is when, or probably the 22nd since it's a day after. So I would say, yeah, that the 22nd will be the day that we will probably get official answers. Did Samsung do a Nexus phone in the past? They should do it again. Samsung did do a Nexus phone in the past. They actually did a couple of them. Forgot if it's 2 or 3. But generally, Nexus has gone to companies that not only have good partnerships with Google, but now traditionally they're the ones that need it. So LG has needed it. Who else? Motorola needed it. Huawei needed it. And now the one that's going to have it this time is HTC because they needed it. So Nexus typically goes to a company that's in need of it first and foremost. It is not Samsung who needs to man up. Google is the problem. Samsung's TouchWiz could simply be installed as an option or installed as their bloat. Google releases an up, every device gets it. I think a lot would need to change to do that, and Google's open source, so it's a bit. It is trickier for that to happen than for a. Although that could be an ultimate solution, that is a lot more difficult solution because hardware and software have to match. So then Google has to have the manpower to actually be able to change and tailor software towards every single hardware manufacturer. And I'll tell you right now, Google does not have the manpower for that. They don't. Could that happen? Yeah, but just not right now. Wait, I missed. No, I didn't miss your question. I said for all the Marshmallow updates, again, just check out. I think 2 weeks back I went over all of them on all the questions on when every device will be getting Marshmallow. I did answer that question for every single Samsung device. It was, I want to say 2 weeks back. It was in the title. When everything Samsung would get Marshmallow. So take a look at that. I haven't missed your question. I'm getting to them. How can I switch seats on the VR without a controller? Can I link my PS3 controller to it? Yes, you can, and it's just one button. Usually, I haven't reviewed this yet, but I'll show you it anyway. Usually, it is the top button right here. or no, sorry, this one right here, that will switch your seat. And yes, this is a Bluetooth controller that I will do a review on. Will you be attending the Apple event on March 21st? No, I will not be attending the Apple event. Sadly, Apple doesn't give me an invitation for that event. I wonder why. No, but yeah, no, I will not be attending that event. What do you expect from the Gear S3? I expect them to actually do a bigger and smaller Gear S3. I think we'll finally see a division of size, so you'll have a bigger version of the Gear S3 and a smaller version. I think that Samsung also realizes that more people like this style than the Gear S2 style. So I think you'll see more of this and less of this kind of style. So different kind of styles. I think more people like this. I think that was made clear. So I think that's what we're going to get more of. Do you think Samsung will make a new VR with Note 6? Yes, I do believe they'll make a new VR with the Note 6. Why do I believe that? Because I think the Note 6 will have Type-C connection. So I do believe that will happen, and yes, there will be a new VR with it. Alright guys, I think I'm going to call that a show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for also watching on the day we normally don't have it. Again, I'm sorry, I was just sick yesterday with the food poisoning, so I just did not feel up to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed time with us, and we will have our 100th episode for Android Weekly next week, guys. 100 episodes down, lots more to go. Oh, there was one question actually I didn't answer that I. There was one question I didn't answer that I did, I guess, skip over, and that was did I decide on RICKY the tech guy? Currently, right now, I have to get the rights to the website that I want for the tech guy, and unless I'm able to do that, I just don't think it'll be able to happen. So yes. Do you use Samsung Pay, Android Pay, or neither? I use Samsung Pay on a weekly basis, not necessarily daily, but weekly basis. Android Pay I would not use, just don't trust the technology enough. It's just not as secure, so I personally wouldn't use it unless if maybe some gift cards. But I would not use it for anything other than that. It's just not as secure. It needs hardware based, which Android can't do because it has to be compatible with all devices. So there. Alright guys, thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy. Please make sure you give a like, thumbs up down below. Thank you as always. Goodbye.